Ball facts.
Liangelo scored the most at Chino Hills, so why wasn't he noticed?
I don't know. All my Chino Hills stuff, I feel like got just overlooked or something, wiped out the way or something, I feel like.
He had the wettest jump shot out of his three brothers. Every single game, he came out cashing and splashing. Their senior years in high school, LaMelo averaged 26, Lonzo 23, and Liangelo 33. And we're not even going to talk about China. Let's get into it.
I don't know. I average really 30. Like, I get 30 every game. On like the big prospects and all the people that everybody was talking about. I made sure of it. Like, we playing him today? Okay, I'm gonna get 30 something just to show him. Like, and we'll be guarding each other and everything. But I don't know. It should go overlooked.
Liangelo's junior and senior year, he went up against the best the country had to offer. And game after game, name after name, Liangelo played the same. The rock of the trifecta known as the Ball brothers, Liangelo was the Swiss Army knife. A mixture of a shooting guard, small forward, and power forward, he powered through the toughest teams. But when it came to him being ranked, he was ranked only a 3-star recruit, despite dropping more points in the game than the 5-star recruits on the other team, as well as his own. Now let's realistically get into what the scouts were seeing.
Ball facts.
And actually, they didn't know what they were seeing. Because when watching Liangelo ball, he can be somewhat of a mystery, especially back in the Chino Hills days. Scouts couldn't tell if he was muscular or chubby. And if he was chubby, how in the heck did he play the entire game without being subbed? Players that weighed half his weight were exhausted trying to keep up with him. And if you did keep up with him, you were most likely getting embarrassed. And as the scouts were looking past him, the opposing teams were preparing for him. You had your work cut out for you guarding Gelo ball. Perplexing the scouts, he was slow on his feet, but could still take you off the dribble. His lateral quickness wasn't impressive at all, but he could create space. He was a fearless shooter, and hands in his face almost seemed invisible. But since the scouts revered his two brothers as great passers, they often looked at the assists rather than the points. They didn't see it as LaMelo and Lonzo feeding the monster. They saw it as the monsters feeding the sidekick. Even though the Chino Hills run and gun style made all the brothers chuck up shots, they felt like Liangelo chucked up too many. Shooting thousands of shots in a week during practice, he was never shy about pulling it out in the game. And that's how confidence is mistaken for ball hogging. The scouts didn't know that his brothers not only wanted him to shoot in the game, but they needed him to in order to win. And many scouts complained about his inside game. They said his weight allowed him to bully players that would not be that small on the next level. Not to mention Liangelo was often seen limping up the court. Scouts knew that he was injured. And sometimes they'll look past injuries knowing that rehabilitation is possible. But in this case, they said even though you're getting the most points on the best team in the country, you're too small to be a forward, and your handles aren't good enough, and you're not quick enough to be a guard. UCLA would go on to take him onto their roster as a bench player. But just imagine, what if the scouts were missing something? They were so focused on his deficiencies that they completely missed what he was accomplishing despite them. If he could lead the #1 team in the country despite an injured ankle, being overweight, and skills not finely tuned, what would happen if he lost the weight, healed his ankle, and started working with NBA trainers?
That's what he did.
You are now witnessing the resurgence of a sleeping giant. He's been through a lot. He's been overlooked. He's been working. He's been overseas and he's been dropping threes. In a world where quitting is not only an option, but easy, Liangelo is looked at as a fool. He's reshaped his body for optimal performance, training alongside his brothers despite not having a contract. He won't have to get ready when his number is called. He'll already be ready. Critics hate that Liangelo wants to play with his brothers. But why would he not want to play with his brothers when he knows what they can do together? In an American society that doesn't value family, Liangelo's values are different. And he wanted to show that in the Drew League this year. Team BBB.
So hopefully they see that, and then I hopefully get on a speak on the team with Melo or Zo or both. Like, that's my main, that's my dream for real. I want to play with my brothers in the NBA.
Liangelo has already publicly said he'd play for any team in the NBA. Now he's just stating his preference, and there's nothing wrong with that. Rumors of good news have spread as to the reason why Liangelo and his brothers have not been in the Drew League. I spoke to Curtis Hollis, who's been averaging 32 points on Team BBB yesterday. He said the team is shorthanded, but more players are on the way. All I'm gonna say is, stay tuned.
Ball facts.
I'm playing the Drew League with my brothers, so that's gonna be exciting, man. That's gonna be a show.
The critics say Liangelo isn't ready for the next level. They assume he only plays at 24/7 fitness and never goes against real hoopers.
It don't matter who's out there, really. Like, I played against NBA dudes, I played against college, overseas, everybody you can imagine.
Who would you say was the toughest, or the hardest matchup you've had? You got you played a lot of players, bro.
I guarded James Harden in the pickup. That I learned some shit from him.
Different.
From the college and NBA scouts to the everyday haters on YouTube, people think they know about Liangelo, and they have no idea. If G3 gets paired with Lonzo or LaMelo or both, get ready to be seasick. We're about to see some splashing again. Remember, you heard it here first. Ball facts again. Peace.